There are moments when the noise of the world fades just enough for your soul to finally hear something deeper. A voice not made of sound, but of spirit. A whisper not from outside, but from within. This is one of those moments. You didn't find this by chance. You were led here because there's something your heart has been longing for, something words cannot fully hold, but presence can deliver. In this video, don't just watch. Listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. Let these words wash over you like light returning after a long night. Let your defenses down. Let your spirit breathe. This isn't just a message. This is an encounter, one that could change everything.
My beloved child, I've waited for this moment when your heart is open, when your ears can hear, and your spirit can be stirred by the whispers of my truth. You may think you've stumbled upon these words by chance, but nothing that touches your soul happens without purpose. You are here because I have called you. I have seen the weight you carry, the quiet tears you shed when no one is watching, the way your smile hides the ache in your heart. And I tell you this, there is something waiting for you at the end of this message that you cannot afford to miss. This isn't just a voice. It is a lifeline. Don't look away. Don't turn your heart aside. I am speaking to you now because your time has come. You've wandered through storms and shadows. You've held your breath in seasons that seemed endless, walking roads that broke your strength, surrounded by people who didn't see the true you. But I see you. I know every part of you, not just the strength you've shown, but also the places you hide, the thoughts you fear, and the dreams you buried. And I have not forgotten you. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. You are not too far gone. Even if your footsteps have led you away from the light, my hand has always followed close behind. I know the battles you've fought in silence. I know the moments when you said, "I'm fine," while screaming inside for someone to rescue you. I am that someone. I am the voice calling you home. And I don't come with judgment in my eyes. I come with mercy. I come with arms wide open, not to point at what you did wrong, but to carry you toward what is still right. This is the beginning of your restoration. Let your soul breathe again. Let your heart be still and listen closely, not just with your ears, but with the place inside you that still hopes, still believes, still wants to be loved without limits. That place was planted in you by me. You are not meant to carry the burden alone. There's a reason your strength has limits, because it was never meant to carry the weight of life by itself. I gave you strength, yes, but I also gave you my spirit, and in my spirit is a power that knows no end. I want to walk with you, not behind you where you cannot feel me, nor in front of you, too far to reach, but beside you, hand in hand, step by step. I will not drag you where you are not ready to go. But if you give me your hand, I will lead you into a place your heart has longed for. This path ahead will not be without challenge, but it will be full of grace. You will not walk it alone. You will walk it covered by promises that I made before you even took your first breath. Don't let fear decide for you anymore. Fear is a thief that has already stolen too many of your nights, too many of your dreams, too many of your words left unspoken. Fear whispers lies. I speak truth. Fear tells you you're not enough. I remind you I created you with purpose. Fear says the pain will never pass. I tell you that joy comes in the morning. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been disappointed. I know that even now, part of you might doubt this could be real, that I could really be speaking to you this way. But pause. Really pause. Feel the stillness growing around your heart as these words reach the depths of your soul. That peace, that stirring, that hope flickering where there was only numbness? That's me. That's my spirit telling you that you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. I am with you and I will stay. You've walked through places you never wanted to enter. You've been betrayed, misunderstood, overlooked. But nothing that happened to you is bigger than what I can do for you. Not one scar is wasted in my hands. I take brokenness and turn it into strength. I take wounds and turn them into wisdom. I take silence and fill it with songs of hope. So do not be ashamed of your journey. Even the moments you regret, even the choices that led to pain, when you give them to me, I make them part of your testimony. I will redeem what the enemy tried to destroy. I will make beauty out of what others called failure. And I will lift you up not just so you can stand, but so you can soar. My love is not earned. It is given, freely, entirely, always. You do not have to pretend in front of me. You can fall to your knees in your mess and cry out, and I will still call you mine. There is nothing in your past that disqualifies you from the future I have prepared. If only you knew how long I have been waiting for this moment, this opening of your heart to hear me, not as an idea, not as a distant thought, but as your father, your shepherd, your redeemer. I know this world has tried to convince you that you are alone, but every breath you've taken has been under my watch. Every moment you've survived, I've seen it, and I've wept with you, rejoiced with you, and even when you could not feel me, I was closer than your next breath. Now the time has come to let go of what has held you down. Those fears, those comparisons, that guilt. They do not belong in the life I've designed for you. I've called you to something greater. I've prepared blessings you cannot yet imagine. But you cannot carry the past and the promise together. You must release one to receive the other. And I know releasing is not easy. That's why I offer to take it from you, not with force, but with love. Place your worry in my hands. Place your regrets, your doubts, your anger. Let me carry what you were never meant to hold. And in exchange, I will fill your heart with peace that passes understanding. Joy that no circumstance can steal. Strength that doesn't rely on your ability, but flows from mine. Let this be the beginning, not just of healing, but of a new way of living. A way led by faith, fueled by hope, and rooted in love. You've searched long enough. You've wandered far enough. Come home to the one who has always called you beloved. Walk into the story that I've written for you, not with shame, but with boldness. You are chosen. You are anointed. And this is only the first step. There is more to come, more than your mind can grasp or your heart can yet contain. But if you stay with me, if you keep listening, keep believing, you will see how everything is about to change. You're still here, and that means your heart is still listening. I know how many times you've started something and wondered if it was worth continuing, how often you've questioned your direction, your value, your very existence. But hear me now. The fact that you are still standing, still searching, still willing to hear my voice, tells me more about your strength than any victory ever could. You think strength is in doing everything right, never faltering, never falling, but I see strength in your persistence, in the way you get back up again, even when your knees tremble and your faith feels paper thin. I see it when you choose to love again, even after betrayal, when you choose to believe again, even after disappointment, when you choose to forgive, even though the scars still ache. These choices are not small to me. They are echoes of my image in you. My child, you've asked many times why the pain doesn't disappear when you pray. Why the doors don't open when you knock. Why you must wait while others seem to run. Let me speak truth to the questions your heart is too weary to say out loud. Sometimes the wait is not a punishment, but a preparation. Sometimes the closed doors are not denials but protection. I see further than you. I see the full map while you see only the path beneath your feet. And I would never withhold something good from you unless I had something better. It is not delay. It is design. While you wait, I am working. While you wonder, I am weaving. Every silence holds a sacred echo. Every pause holds power. You may think you are standing still, but I am moving in the unseen places, orchestrating the very miracles you've prayed for. And I know that lately the weight feels heavier than ever, the doubts louder, the road longer. Sometimes you wake up with a heaviness you can't explain, and go to sleep hoping for a peace that never quite comes. You carry the expectations of others on your back like stones. You feel the pressure to be okay, to be strong, to keep smiling while something inside you quietly breaks. But let me be the one who carries it now. You were never meant to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to convince the world that you're worthy. I've already declared it. You were never meant to be everyone's savior. I already am. Let go of the performance. Let go of the pressure. I'm not looking for your perfection. I'm looking for your heart. A heart willing to be honest, even in its brokenness. A heart willing to be soft, even after it's been hardened by pain. A heart willing to return, again and again, to the place where love began. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to earn what I already want to give. You just have to believe. Believe that I can restore what's been lost. Believe that I can breathe life into what you thought was dead. Believe that I can take what was meant to destroy you and use it to build you up. That is the kind of power I have. Not the power of control, but the power of transformation. I do not force your life into shape. I invite you to let me shape it with you. I do not dominate your will. I meet you at the intersection of your freedom and my love, and together we write a story that no one can erase. I know you're tired. I know your prayers have sometimes felt like echoes in an empty room, but I have heard every word. I have seen every tear, and not one has been wasted. Not one has fallen without catching my attention. There are things I have been doing behind the veil of your understanding that you will only comprehend in time. But today I ask you to walk by faith, not sight. Trust that what you cannot see is still sacred. Trust that just because the answer hasn't come doesn't mean I'm not answering. You see, I'm not just working on what you asked for. I'm working on you. And the person you're becoming through this process is just as important as the breakthrough you seek. Let's talk about identity, because so many of your struggles come from forgetting who you are. You are not a mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not defined by failure, by shame, or by what others have said about you. You are my creation, formed with intention, designed with eternity in mind. You carry my image, my breath, my purpose. You are not a label. You are not your past. You are not your fears. You are chosen. You are loved. You are mine. And when you begin to truly believe that, something shifts. The way you see yourself changes. The way you walk into rooms changes. The way you face problems changes. Because when you know who you are, you stop settling for less than what I've promised. You stop chasing things that never belonged to you in the first place. You stop listening to voices that don't echo my truth. The world will always offer noise, opinions, expectations, distractions. But my voice is different. It does not shout. It whispers. It does not accuse. It invites. It does not pressure. It draws near. And it is in the quiet moments, when you are still enough to listen, that you'll begin to hear it clearly. You'll begin to recognize that you are not who the world says you are. You are who I say you are. And I say you are deeply loved, entirely seen, fully known, and never alone. I know every fear that hides behind your smiles, every memory that tries to define your worth, every insecurity that battles for your mind. But I'm not afraid of your darkness. I'm not put off by your questions. I welcome them. I invite you to bring them to me. Not because I will always give you the answer you want, but because I will always give you the love you need. Let this be the day you stop running from yourself. Let this be the moment you stop hiding behind what hurts and start healing with what's holy. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to wait until you're better. Come as you are. Come with the mess. Come with the doubts. Come with the pain. My love doesn't start when you're healed. It starts now, right here, in the middle of your uncertainty. I see potential where others see problems. I see redemption where others see ruin. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are not beyond hope. You are exactly who I came for. So take this word and hold it close. Let it become the truth that anchors you when everything else feels unstable. Let it be the light that flickers through your darkness, the warmth that returns to your soul, the breath that fills your lungs again. You are not alone. I am here. I've always been here. And this is only the beginning of what I'm about to do in your life. You're beginning to hear me more clearly now, not just with your ears, but with your soul. That stillness you feel, that quiet stirring in the deepest part of who you are, that's my presence resting upon you. Don't rush it. Don't dismiss it. You've been so used to running, to fixing, to doing, to surviving that stillness feels strange. But this stillness is sacred. It is the ground where transformation begins. Let it hold you. Let it whisper truths into the wounds that have waited too long to be healed. You've been chasing answers, outcomes, and resolutions, hoping they would give you peace. But peace doesn't come from understanding everything. It comes from trusting me even when you don't. You see, I'm not just trying to solve your problems. I'm trying to draw you closer. I'm not just offering rescue. I'm offering relationship. What I want most is not your performance, your perfection, or your plans. I want your heart. I want to walk with you through the questions, through the quiet, through the chaos. Because it's in walking together that love deepens. It's in the journey that you learn who I truly am. I'm not just the God who answers prayers. I'm the God who sits with you while you wait for them to be answered. I'm not just the God who parts the sea. I'm the one who walks with you through it. I'm not just the God of miracles. I'm the God of moments, the ones no one sees, the ones where your faith wavers and your tears fall silently. I see them. I hold them. I honor them. They are part of your worship. You've been taught to measure your worth by progress, by productivity, by how much you achieve or how well you appear to others. But that is not how I see you. I don't love you more on your best day or less on your worst. My love is not a transaction. It is a covenant. I don't change with your circumstances or your emotions. I am constant, steady, unshakable. My love is not fragile. It does not withdraw when you struggle. It does not disappear when you doubt. It remains. Even when you turn away, even when your trust falters, I remain. You belong to me not because of what you do, but because of who I am. And I am love. I know how the voices of this world have shaped you. I know the way comparison has stolen your joy. I know the lies that echo in your mind, telling you that you're behind, that you're broken, that you'll never become who you're meant to be. But I want you to know this truth. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are right where I knew you would be, and I have never stopped working in your life. Even your detours have not confused me. Even your delays have not frustrated me. I see the whole picture, and I am not in a hurry. I am far more concerned with who you are becoming than how fast you are arriving. The world is obsessed with speed, but I am faithful in seasons. I am a God of process. I do not rush what I want to be real. Let's talk about your heart, the part of you that has been wounded, perhaps even hardened by disappointment. You've built walls to protect yourself, and I understand why. You've been hurt. You've trusted people who didn't see the value of your soul. You've opened up only to be dismissed or misunderstood. And now, part of you is afraid to hope again, afraid to open, afraid to feel. But my child, I did not create you to live with a closed heart. I created you to love, to feel, to risk, to receive. I know opening your heart feels dangerous, but I promise you this. When you open it to me, I will not break it. I will not reject you. I will not turn away. My love is gentle. My voice is healing. My embrace is safe. And in this place of surrender, something beautiful happens. You begin to recognize that you are not responsible for saving yourself. That your worth does not come from fixing everything. That you can be fully known and still completely loved. That you can stop striving and start resting. Resting doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting. It means letting me carry what you've been dragging. It means realizing that your identity is not found in how strong you can be, but in how deeply you are loved by the one who is strength itself. You've been carrying questions like hidden weights. Will I ever heal from this? Will I ever be truly happy? Will I ever become the person I was meant to be? Listen closely, beloved, healing is not a destination. It is a journey we walk together. Happiness is not a constant emotion. It is a quiet knowing that I am with you. Becoming who you are meant to be is not about reaching some perfect version of yourself. It's about returning to the truth that you were never separated from my love in the first place. The real you is not lost. She is not broken. He is not missing. The real you is being revealed day by day, layer by layer, as you walk in grace, truth, and faith. So stop being so hard on yourself. Stop replaying the regrets and rewinding the what-ifs. The past cannot be undone, but it can be redeemed. You are not defined by what happened, you are defined by who holds your future. And I hold it in hands that are scarred with love for you. There is nothing you've done that disqualifies you from the story I'm writing. In fact, the parts of your life you think disqualify you are the very places I want to begin again. I do my best work in broken places. I build beauty from ashes. I bring resurrection from the ruins. Nothing is wasted, not your pain, not your failure, not even your silence. I use it all. I redeem it all. I resurrect it all. Take a breath. Right now, just breathe. Feel that? That's life. That's grace. That's evidence that hope is still alive in you. And as long as there is breath, there is purpose. There is always more. I am not finished with you. The road may twist. The days may be long. But I am with you. I walk beside you. I speak to you in ways both loud and soft. Through this word, through the sky, through the kindness of a stranger, through the strength you didn't know you had. I am everywhere. I am everything. And I am yours. This is not the end of your story. This is not the last chapter. Don't close the book when I've only just begun turning the page. Keep reading. Keep listening. Keep following the sound of my voice, for it will always lead you to life, to truth, to freedom. I know the plans I have for you, and they are good, full of hope, full of promise, full of peace. And I will bring them to pass, not by your might, not by your hustle, but by my spirit. So come, child, rest your weary heart, lay down the burdens, let me carry you. This is the place where love begins again. Now that you've allowed your heart to rest, I want to teach it how to rise. You've learned how to survive, but I'm here to teach you how to thrive. You've been in the valley long enough to forget what it feels like to lift your eyes to the hills. But I am calling you upward. Not because you have mastered everything, not because you're finally perfect, but because your heart has been softened by surrender. And that is the soil in which greatness begins. You've spent so long looking for signs that things are getting better. But sometimes the greatest sign of change is what begins within, not around you. It's not always the circumstances that shift first. It's the way your soul begins to believe again, hope again, rise again. I've watched you go through days that bent your strength and weeks that blurred your vision. I've seen how you've questioned not just your path but your purpose. I know how the silence has felt like absence, and how the long waiting seasons have made you doubt if I'm still writing your story. But I've never set the pen down. The ink of my promises has not dried. I've been writing even in the dark. I've been weaving even in the chaos. You just haven't seen the full picture yet. But what you need to understand is this: your purpose was never lost. You cannot lose what I placed in you before time began. You can ignore it. You can bury it beneath fear and disappointment. But it remains, because I remain. And now I am stirring it up again. That dream you thought was gone, it's waking. That calling you thought belonged to someone more qualified, it's calling your name again. You see, I don't choose people based on credentials. I choose them based on surrender. You don't have to be the smartest, strongest, or most successful. You just have to say yes. That's how heaven moves. Through the yielded, through the humble, through the ones who dare to believe that my power is made perfect in weakness. You've been trying to be strong all on your own, but what I've been waiting for is the moment you let me be your strength. Do you remember the times when you felt a fire inside you, when you knew deep in your bones that you were meant for something more? That was me. I was speaking to you then, even if you didn't know it. And I'm speaking now, because it's time to awaken what the world tried to bury. You were not made to simply get through life. You were made to illuminate it. Your presence matters more than you know. Your kindness, your story, your perspective. It's needed. Not after you fix yourself. Not when you finally have it all together. But now, as you are. Because I will not wait for perfection to begin a good work. I begin good works in the middle of brokenness. And then I perfect them myself. You've been asking for direction, wondering which way to go, feeling like your path has too many turns, too many unknowns. But child, don't you see? I am the path. I'm not just a guide giving instructions. I am the road itself. If you walk with me, you will not miss your way. And when you stumble, I will not leave you there. I will lift you. When you wander, I will not punish you. I will pursue you, because that's who I am. A father who seeks the one who strayed. A shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. I am not interested in watching you fail from afar. I am interested in walking with you, correcting in love, restoring in grace, and rejoicing every time you come close. Let's speak about fear again. Not because it has power, but because it's had too much of your attention. Fear has become a language you speak fluently, and now I want to teach you the language of faith. Fear says, what if? Faith says, even if. Fear says, you can't. Faith says, I already made a way. Fear imagines the worst. Faith remembers who I am. I want to shift the way you see, the way you think, the way you respond. Not by pushing you into blind courage, but by opening your heart to a greater reality. That I am with you, in all things, at all times, and that nothing you face has the power to separate you from my love. This is not motivational talk. This is eternal truth. This is the kind of love that casts out fear, because it never gives up on you. You will not always feel brave, but bravery is not a feeling. It's a decision. And every time you choose to keep going, to keep trusting, to keep loving, even when it would be easier to shut down, you are walking in courage. Every act of faith, no matter how small, echoes in eternity. You have no idea how your quiet obedience is moving mountains in the unseen. While you're worried about results, I'm celebrating your faithfulness. While you're measuring your impact, I'm measuring your heart. And let me assure you, it is beautiful to me. Every time you forgave when it hurt, every time you prayed when you felt empty, every time you chose to believe when everything screamed doubt, I saw it. I counted it. I will reward it. There is more inside of you than you know. More resilience, more grace, more beauty, more fire. I placed it there not so you could impress the world, but so you could reflect me. I made you a light in this dark world. And you don't have to shine like anyone else. You don't have to compete, compare, or prove. You just have to be rooted in me, to be filled with my word, to be led by my spirit. From that place, everything else will grow. The influence, the purpose, the healing, the overflow. I'm not asking you to manufacture it. I'm asking you to remain in me, and I will produce what you could never accomplish in your own strength. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions. But I am inviting you to be still in one thing, your identity as my child. When you're rooted in that truth, storms may come, but you will not be uprooted. Voices may rise, but you will not be shaken. Circumstances may shift, but you will remain firm, because your life is not built on sand, but on the solid rock of my love. And when others see your life standing in the storm, they will ask why. And that is when you will tell them, not about how strong you are, but how faithful I've been. Let this be the day you stop apologizing for the fire in you. The day you stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. The day you stop delaying your obedience because you're afraid of failure. I am with you. I have always been. And this world needs what I placed in you. It's time to rise. Not with noise, not with performance, but with quiet boldness, with unwavering peace, with the joy of knowing who you are and whose you are. You are mine, and I am yours. Now let's walk forward, together. Now that you've risen in heart, it's time to rise in purpose. You were not healed to remain hidden. You were not strengthened to stay silent. Everything I have poured into your soul, every whisper of encouragement, every touch of healing, every moment of comfort, was preparing you for this very next step. Not just to walk with me, but to walk for me. I have called you not only to know my love, but to carry it. You have asked me again and again, what should I do next? And the answer, though simple, is sacred. Take everything I've placed in your hands and begin. Begin where you are. Begin with what you have. Begin even if your voice shakes, even if your faith still flickers, even if your plans don't yet make sense. Obedience doesn't require full understanding. It only requires a heart that says yes. Too many times you've waited for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect sign. But child, do you not see? You are the moment I've chosen. You are the sign someone else is praying for. You carry the spirit of the living God. And where you go, heaven touches earth. There's no need to wait for permission from the world when you've already been commissioned by me. You keep asking, but what if I'm not ready? But I ask you, what if I am ready through you? You see, I don't move based on your confidence. I move through your surrender. If you bring me your 5 loaves and 2 fish, I will feed multitudes. If you bring me your yes, I will shape nations. If you bring me your weakness, I will reveal my strength. This is no longer the season of watching others fulfill their calling while you hide in the shadows of self-doubt. I have called you to the front lines, not to be perfect, not to perform, but to be present. Present in your family, present in your workplace, present in your community, present in your purpose. And yes, there will be moments where the weight feels too much, where the cost feels too high. But know this, I will never call you to a place where my grace won't sustain you. I will never lead you into battle without arming you with everything you need. The fire in your bones? That is me. The restlessness that won't let you quit? That is my spirit. The tears you cry when you feel the burden of souls who don't know me? That is the intercession I've placed within you. And the passion that burns for justice, for truth, for light, that is not your imagination. That is your mantle. Let go of the idea that you have to fix everything before you step out. Faith was never about certainty. It was always about trust. And trust is proven not in the comfort zone but in the unknown. You've waited long enough, thinking the answer would come when everything felt safe. But I am not calling you into safety. I am calling you into significance. You were not created to be comfortable. You were created to be impactful. I've shaped you with a boldness that fear cannot crush, with a purpose that time cannot erase. What you carry is holy. Your story is a weapon. Your voice is anointed. When you speak with love and truth, darkness trembles. When you walk into rooms full of confusion and chaos, my peace walks with you. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You are light, and light was never meant to be hidden. I know stepping out is not easy. I know it requires sacrifice. You may lose comfort. You may lose people. You may even lose plans you've held tightly for years. But nothing you surrender to me will ever be lost. I multiply what you give. I bless what you release. I pour oil on the very places you've emptied out for my sake. And though it may not always be easy, it will always be worth it. I am with you. I go before you, and I surround you on every side. You don't walk into battle alone. You walk with legions of angels, with the power of heaven, and with the full authority of my name. So take the first step. Take it trembling if you must, but take it. There is a world waiting for what I have placed in you. There are hearts longing for hope, families waiting for restoration, lives aching for light, and I've chosen you to carry that light. Not because you're the most eloquent, not because you're flawless, but because you're willing. And that's all I've ever needed. A willing heart. A soul that says yes even when it doesn't know how. A spirit that dares to believe that I can do the impossible through ordinary hands. So plant the seeds. Speak the word. Share the story. Serve the one in front of you. Don't underestimate what small acts of obedience can do when backed by my power. You may think you're just encouraging one person, but I see how that ripple will change generations. You may think you're just starting small, but I see how that step will shift atmospheres. This is a season of building, not on the sand of approval, but on the rock of my promises. Not with your own tools, but with my instruction. And yes, the foundation may take time. The digging may feel slow, but what you build with me will stand when storms come. It will not crumble. It will not shake, because I am the one laying the cornerstone, and I never fail. I don't call you to build quickly. I call you to build faithfully, step by step, stone by stone, moment by moment. I will show you how. You don't need to compare your progress with anyone else's. The assignment I've given you is unique, and your timeline is not their timeline. Walk with me and I will guide your pace. And don't forget this, joy is part of the journey. I did not design your calling to crush you. I designed it to awaken you, to fill you, to bring you alive in ways you've never known. There will be laughter. There will be beauty. There will be moments where heaven touches earth and you'll feel it so clearly that you'll weep not from pain, but from overwhelming peace. This is what it means to live in me, not just to be rescued, but to be released. Released from fear, released from people-pleasing, released from self-doubt, released into bold, beautiful, burning purpose. So go. Go where I send you. Go in faith. Go with joy. Go with fire. You are not alone. I walk with you. I speak through you. I empower you. And when you forget, when you falter, when you fail, I will lift you again. This is not the end of your story. This is the rise, the sending, the beginning of something that cannot be stopped. You have said yes. Now watch what I will do. You've started walking and I see your steps. I see how your heart now burns with a different kind of fire. Not just the fire of being healed, but the fire of being called. That fire is precious, but it will be tested. Not because I want to hurt you, but because gold only shines when it's passed through flame. Purpose does not grow in places of ease. It grows in places where pressure refines and resistance strengthens. So if the path ahead feels narrow, steep, or even lonely at times, don't be alarmed. It doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're learning what it really means to walk with me. The way of the cross is not the way of comfort. It is the way of glory through sacrifice. Not because pain is noble in itself, but because the deepest parts of your heart are shaped not by the things that come easy, but by the things you endure while clinging to me. There will be days when the very people you try to help misunderstand your heart. There will be moments when your kindness is met with silence, your love with rejection, your faith with resistance. I know that hurts. I felt it too. I loved perfectly and was still pierced. I gave all of myself and was still betrayed. I spoke truth and they turned their faces away. So if you find yourself walking through rejection, know this, you are not alone. You are walking in my footsteps, and every tear you cry in secret, every ache you carry without applause, every sacrifice you make when no one is watching, I see it, I record it, and I will reward it. I know the world tells you that your value is measured in ease and applause, that blessing means everything works out quickly, painlessly, visibly. But my kingdom is not of this world. My ways are not like theirs. I bless differently. Sometimes the greatest blessing is not in avoiding suffering, but in being transformed by it. For it is in the pressing that your anointing deepens, in the waiting that your roots grow, in the weeping that your compassion is born. I am not trying to break you. I am building you, and sometimes building requires tearing down what was not meant to last. You've prayed for strength. I'm answering that prayer not just by giving it to you, but by growing it inside you. Strength is not always revealed in loud declarations. Sometimes it is found in quiet endurance, in staying faithful when nothing makes sense, in believing I am good even when life is hard. You may not realize it now, but what you're carrying, the fire, the faith, the light, it's becoming a lighthouse for others. People are watching you, not for perfection, but for consistency. They're watching how you suffer, how you wait, how you love when it's hard. And every time you choose to keep going, to forgive again, to rise again, you are showing them what real faith looks like. You are preaching the gospel without saying a word. And it is working. It is reaching. It is planting seeds in places you cannot see. You will not always get to witness the fruit right away. But believe me, nothing you do in obedience is wasted. I want you to know something holy, something deep, something the world doesn't understand. That the pain you carry is not only seen, it is honored. In this kingdom, nothing is meaningless. Your struggles are not punishments. Your unanswered prayers are not rejections. Your storms are not signs of failure. They are classrooms. They are sacred spaces where your faith is being shaped into something unshakable. I do not rejoice in your pain, but I rejoice in what it produces. I rejoice when your suffering turns to compassion, when your loss turns to wisdom, when your tears become the river that waters someone else's dry soul. Do not despise these seasons. They will not last forever, but they are forming something eternal in you. There will be beauty from these ashes. There will be songs from these sighs. There will be joy on the other side of sorrow. Not because you escaped it, but because you let it do its work. This is what I meant when I said, "Take up your cross and follow me." I wasn't calling you into misery. I was inviting you into intimacy, because it's in those places of deepest need that you experience my presence most profoundly. When you've run out of strength and you fall to your knees, that's where I kneel beside you. When your voice breaks in prayer and all you can say is, "Help," that's when I hold you with the kind of tenderness that words cannot describe. I never waste a broken heart. I mend it with my own hands. I know there are things you've given up, things that cost you dearly, friendships that faded because you chose truth, opportunities that vanished because you chose integrity, seasons of waiting that stretched your soul thin. I saw every moment of it, and I am not unjust. I will not forget what you gave up for me. What the world saw as loss I count as worship. And in my timing, I will restore what the locusts have eaten. But more than that, I will give you something the world cannot take away. Peace that passes understanding. Joy that survives every storm. Strength that cannot be shaken. This is your inheritance as my child. Not a life free from pain, but a life full of purpose, even in pain. So don't be afraid of the fire. I am in it with you. Don't be afraid of the silence. I am speaking in ways your spirit understands. Don't be afraid of being alone. I have surrounded you with a cloud of witnesses, with angels who go before you, with my spirit that never leaves. You are never walking through the valley alone. I walk beside you as a shepherd. I go before you as a king. I stand behind you as a defender. I live within you as a friend. There is no part of your journey where my presence is not with you. And yes, there will come a day when you look back on this time, not with bitterness, but with awe. You'll see how I was working when you thought I was silent. You'll realize that the prayers you thought were unanswered were actually being fulfilled in ways you couldn't yet understand. You'll thank me for the things I withheld. You'll praise me for the doors I closed. And you'll marvel at how the suffering that once made you want to quit became the foundation of a life you never thought possible. I will bring you through, and not just to survive, but to shine, to bless, to lead others out of the places you once cried in. So take heart. You are not weak. You are being strengthened. You are not being punished. You are being purified. You are not abandoned. You are being anointed. I am the God who works in the wilderness, who speaks in the silence, who heals in the shadows. And I am working in you now, deeply, powerfully, faithfully. Just hold on. Keep walking. Keep trusting. What's ahead is worth every tear behind. I promise you, child, your suffering will never be the end of your story. It is only the soil where resurrection begins. Now that you've walked through fire and found me faithful, now that your spirit has been refined, it's time to bring that fire into the world I've placed you in. Your faith is not a quiet thing, not a treasure to be buried in secret. It is a light, and light was made to shine. It does no good hiding under fear, under doubt, or under the pressure to conform. I have not called you into hiding. I have called you into living, fully, boldly, visibly, not with arrogance, not with pride, but with love so deep, so humble, so pure that it silences even the loudest darkness. You've prayed for transformation, and I've answered you. But now I say, let that transformation be seen. Let it be carried into your home, your job, your relationships, your decisions. Because if your faith stays only in your thoughts and never reaches your hands, your voice, your footsteps, then the world will never taste the fruit I've been cultivating in you. This is where real courage begins. Not in grand stages or dramatic moments, but in the daily choice to reflect me in the ordinary. When you speak kindly to the person everyone else ignores. When you choose truth even when it costs you. When you stay honest when it would be easier to twist the truth to protect your image. When you forgive before the apology comes. These are not small things. These are kingdom acts. These are holy echoes of my heart moving through you. You want to change the world? Start where you are. You want revival? Let it begin in your home. Let your words be seasoned with grace. Let your actions mirror the mercy I've shown you. The most powerful testimony is not what you say. It's how you live when no one is watching. People are not only listening to what you preach. They are watching how you love. They are measuring the authenticity of your faith by how you treat the least, how you serve when it's inconvenient, how you act when you're tired, wronged, or unseen. Do not despise these quiet tests. They are the real proving ground. They are where I reveal myself through you. Not in the spotlight, but in the kitchen, in traffic, at the workplace, in the conversation that tests your patience. It's easy to speak of love when it costs nothing. But real love is forged in the tension between your comfort and someone else's need. and I have placed you in this world not to be served, but to serve. Tu pour out. To lift up, to carry light into places that have forgotten what light looks like. You keep asking me, Lord, what is my purpose? And I keep whispering back, be love, be light, be mine. Your purpose is not hidden behind a title or a platform. It's found in how you respond to the person next to you. It's how you choose grace over gossip, compassion over criticism, patience over pride. And no, this path is not easy. The world will try to harden you. People will test your gentleness. Culture will tell you to protect yourself at all costs, to give only when it's safe, to love only when it's deserved. But I call you higher. I call you deeper. I call you to the cross, not just as a symbol of your salvation, but as a daily invitation to lay your life down in love for others. And yes, this love will cost you. It will cost you comfort, pride, time, convenience. It will ask you to give when you feel empty, to trust when you feel exposed, to extend grace when you'd rather withdraw. But let me remind you of something eternal. Every act of love sown in faith will reap a harvest in due time. You may not see the fruit immediately, but I do. I water every seed with my spirit. I breathe on your obedience. I surround your surrender with purpose you cannot yet comprehend. And I will use every single moment, every unseen act of compassion, every quiet prayer for a stranger, every time you chose peace over retaliation. I will use it. Nothing is wasted in my hands. I want you to understand something clearly. You are my ambassador, not just when you speak of me, but when you represent me with your life. When others see how you carry hope in crisis, when they witness your peace in the middle of pressure, when your joy shines even when circumstances say otherwise. This is how people will know you are mine, not just by your words, but by your fruit. And the fruit of my spirit will never grow in shallow soil. So keep digging, stay rooted, remain in me, and you will bear much fruit. There will be days when you feel invisible, days when you wonder if your quiet obedience matters, days when your efforts to love seem to bounce off hardened hearts. But never forget, I see it all, and what I see I bless. What you do in secret I will honor in the open, and what seems small to you may be the very miracle someone else has been praying for. So don't stop. Don't let the apathy of others shrink your flame. Don't let the coldness of the world freeze your compassion. Stay warm, stay faithful, stay kind. That is how we win this war, not with weapons, but with unwavering love. Let your presence be a shelter. Let your life be a prayer. Let your attitude preach louder than your lips. And when people ask you why you live the way you do, point them to me. Tell them about the grace that changed you. Tell them about the mercy that carried you. Tell them about the voice that called you out of the shadows and gave you purpose. You don't need perfect theology to reflect me. You need a willing heart, a faithful spirit, and a life surrendered daily. And that, my child, is more powerful than you think. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more witnesses, more living examples of what my love looks like in flesh and blood. And that is why I called you, not to impress, not to argue, but to reflect, to radiate, to reveal, to walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere with peace, to enter conflict and speak life, to stand when others bow, to bow when others boast, to shine not for attention, but for truth. This is your call. This is your invitation. This is your mantle, and I will walk with you every step of the way. Now that your hands have begun to serve and your feet have begun to walk the path I laid before you, I want your heart to learn a new rhythm, the rhythm of abiding. Because I did not just call you to act, I called you to dwell. I did not just raise you to move, I raised you to remain. This is not a race to achieve for me, it is a life to live with me. And I want you to know that my greatest joy is not in what you do for me, but in who you become with me. I created you not just for impact, but for intimacy. And this is the next step, not outward motion, but inward union. Not more noise, but deeper presence. Not bigger plans, but a fuller heart. I want you to understand that I am not just beside you when you serve, but within you when you're still. I am not just near when you speak my truth, but when you sit quietly in the secret place and let me speak mine. Your faith is not measured by activity, but by communion. And there is a depth I want to bring you into, a place where you no longer strive for answers, because your soul is satisfied in simply being with me. This is where your peace will grow roots. This is where your thoughts will be transformed. This is where your identity will be sealed. Not in what you do, not in what others say, but in what I whisper to your spirit when you are still enough to hear. Abiding is not passive. It is powerful. The world rushes and runs, constantly pulled in every direction. But I am calling you into stillness, into the holy practice of staying close. Not just when life is good, not just when the miracles are visible, but when you don't feel anything. When your prayers are quiet, when your days feel repetitive, when no one is watching and there is nothing new to post. I want you to learn how to be with me in those places. Because maturity isn't built on emotion, it's built on surrender. And abiding is where surrender becomes sacred. It's where your soul lets go of performance and opens its hands to receive. Not to grab, not to grasp, but to receive. My love, my wisdom, my peace. I want to shape your inner life so deeply that even when the storms rage around you, you will not be shaken. That even when voices rise against you, your heart remains quiet because it is anchored in mine. That even when you are surrounded by confusion, you carry clarity, not because of your strength, but because of our closeness. You've been asking me to change your circumstances, and I will, but first I want to change your center. I want you to be so grounded in my presence that no pressure can uproot you. No lie can steal your truth. No loss can take away your love. This closeness I desire with you is not reserved for the spiritual elite. It's not a mystery I hide from the weak. It's for you. It's available now, right here. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to understand it. You just have to lean in. Let your heart draw near. Let your breath slow. Let your mind come home. Because in this stillness, I will fill you. I will surround you. I will speak to the places no one else can reach. You are not a servant only, I call you friend. You are not just a follower, you are my beloved. And I don't just want your gifts, your service, or your progress. I want your heart. All of it. Even the corners you've kept hidden. Even the parts that still tremble. I want you to let me live there. And this intimacy will change everything. It will reshape how you see others, not as obstacles or strangers, but as souls I love. It will soften your judgments. It will silence your need to prove. It will increase your compassion and extinguish your insecurity. Because when you know how deeply you are loved, you no longer need validation from the world. You will live full not to earn worth, but to express it. Your peace will overflow. Your patience will expand. Your joy will become your strength, not because nothing goes wrong, but because you no longer face anything alone. In the quiet, I will pour revelation, not always with dramatic signs or visions, but with quiet conviction, holy insight, deep assurance. You will begin to notice my voice not only in scripture, but in silence. Not only in miracles, but in moments. In the way light filters through your window. In the way your heart softens in prayer. In the way I bring a person to your mind just before they call. In the way your spirit rests when you worship, not because of the song, but because I'm there. I want you to learn the language of my spirit. A language that doesn't always use words, but knows. Knows when to speak and when to be silent. When to step forward and when to wait. When to pursue and when to let go. This knowing doesn't come from books or strategies. It comes from nearness. And nearness is my gift to you, not something you earn, but something you embrace. I've already made the first move. The veil was torn. The distance was removed. The door is open. Now come close. Let me lead not just your steps, but your thoughts. Let me guide not just your plans, but your desires. Let me shape not just your life, but your being. Because when you remain in me, everything else flows. Your calling finds clarity. Your work bears fruit. Your relationships deepen. Your peace becomes constant. Not because life is easy, but because you have learned the secret. I am enough. And when you discover that, you are free. Free to live with joy even in sorrow. Free to serve without needing recognition. free to love without fear, free to speak truth without shame, free to rest without guilt. This is the life I long to give you, not one of constant striving, but of holy abiding. So come, child, let go of the pressure to always do. Come be, let your soul breathe, let your spirit drink, let your heart beat with mine. I'm not waiting for you in the finish line. I'm walking with you in every breath. You are not behind. You are not late. You are here, and so am I. Together we will go deeper. Together we will remain. Now that you have learned to rest in me, to remain in me, to find your breath and your being in the stillness of my presence, I want to open your eyes to something deeper still. You were not created to drift aimlessly through life, pulled by circumstance and swayed by opinion. I have given you something far more powerful than that, the ability to discern, to see with my vision, to sense with my spirit, to know what is truly from me and what only imitates the light. This world is full of noise, full of distraction, full of good things that are not necessarily God things. That's why discernment is not optional for where I'm taking you. It is essential. And I want to teach you how to walk in wisdom, not only by principle but by presence. Because I don't want you to just do what looks right. I want you to do what is led. You have heard me in the silence. You have seen me in the stillness. Now I want you to recognize me in the decision, in the crossroads, in the subtle shifts of your spirit that alert you when something may appear pure but does not carry peace. I am not the author of confusion. I will never lead you through manipulation, anxiety, or pressure. When I speak, even hard truths will come with clarity. Even difficult assignments will come with peace. My spirit will never rush you out of fear. I am not in the hurry. I am in the holy. And that is where I want you to live now. Not just reacting to life, but discerning it. Not just saying yes to everything that appears good, but learning to ask, "Is this you, Lord?" before you move. You see, every open door is not a calling. Every opportunity is not your assignment. Every voice is not from heaven. And I will give you ears to hear the difference if you stay close. Discernment is not just about avoiding what is wrong. It's about recognizing what is right in the context of my purpose for you. There are things that may be good for others but are not appointed for your season. There are places I have not sent you, conversations I have not anointed you to enter, battles I have not asked you to fight. And walking in wisdom means knowing that just because you can doesn't mean you should. I want to guide you with precision, not assumption, not out of fear of failure, but out of reverence for alignment. And this alignment will bring power, not the power that demands or dominates, but the power that flows from walking in step with heaven. There is a weight that lifts when you walk in my will. Decisions no longer feel like guessing games. Paths become clearer. Relationships find deeper roots. Your days gain focus. Because when you are walking in what I have prepared, you are not striving, you are flowing. You are no longer carrying burdens I never asked you to carry. You are no longer burning out doing things I never called you to do. And you will feel the difference. You will feel the grace return, the joy rise, the clarity sharpen. But to discern, you must continue to remain, to lean into the quiet, to test the spirits, to bring every idea, every decision, every invitation before me. You don't need to overanalyze. You don't need to control outcomes. You just need to ask and listen. And when you hear my peace, follow it. Even when it doesn't make sense to others. Even when it costs you something. Because obedience is not about ease. It's about trust. And trust is the highest form of worship. When you say yes not because you understand everything, but because you trust the one who does. I know there are dreams in your heart. Some you've shared, some you've hidden. I placed them there, and I will show you which ones are for now, which are for later, and which were meant only to lead you to something greater. Not every desire is your destination. Sometimes, I use the longing to lead you closer to my presence. Sometimes I withhold what you want to protect what you truly need. But if you let me lead, I will show you which roads are marked with my fingerprints. I will give you signs, not just external ones, but deep spiritual confirmations that anchor you. You will learn to walk in quiet confidence, because you will know that you are not led by your emotions, but by my spirit. This is where I want to take you now, not just into impact, but into integrity, into living from the inside out, into becoming someone whose every step is intentional, whose every yes is sacred, whose every no is peaceful. Because when you discern well, you steward well. And when you steward well, I can trust you with more influence, more responsibility, more revelation, not for your glory, but for mine. Not to build your kingdom, but to extend mine. So don't be afraid to slow down and ask me again. Don't be afraid to say no to what flatters your ego but empties your spirit. Don't be afraid to wait until peace returns. That pause might save you years of detour. That hesitation might be holy. That unsettling feeling in your spirit might be my protection. Listen to it. Honor it. Bring it to me. I do not speak in riddles. I am not distant or hard to hear. I am speaking, and I am teaching you how to recognize the sound of my footsteps even when the world grows loud. I am not trying to make your life complicated. I'm trying to make it consecrated, set apart, clear, beautiful, purposeful, free. And this is what discernment brings. Not control, but clarity. Not fear, but faith. Not hesitation, but holy confidence. A confidence that knows you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what I've called you to do, no matter what it looks like to others. So open your heart to hear me in a new way. Let me shape your instincts. Let me rewire your reactions. Let me anoint your decisions. I am not just your savior. I am your shepherd, and I will never lead you where my grace cannot keep you. The steps of the righteous are ordered, not guessed, not improvised, ordered, and I am ordering yours. Now walk in that truth. Now that you have learned to discern my voice, to walk in rhythm with my spirit, to move not in haste but in holy alignment, I want to show you something you may not yet fully see. How your life, lived quietly in surrender, is changing the atmosphere around you. You think your influence begins with platforms and ends with applause, but child, influence begins the moment your heart says yes to me. Every time you choose light over compromise, truth over ease, grace over pride, heaven notices and earth responds. The world may never see the weight of your obedience, but it feels the impact. The people around you may not always say it, but your peace is speaking. Your gentleness is softening hearts. Your joy is unsettling despair. You are shifting the atmosphere simply by existing in me. You weren't created just to carry my presence. You were created to release it. That's what happens when you live in intimacy and discernment. You don't just reflect me, you radiate me. You become a place where people can encounter my love without even knowing why they feel it. That moment when someone feels safe around you for no logical reason, that's my spirit in you. That conversation where someone opens up their deepest wound without meaning to, that's my compassion flowing through your presence. That quiet peace that follows you into rooms full of anxiety, that's my peace walking ahead of you, making space for healing. You're not ordinary. You're a vessel, temple, a living invitation to come closer to me. And it doesn't take a stage. It doesn't require a title. You could be sitting in a coffee shop, working at your desk, laughing with your children, texting a friend who's hurting, and all the while your life is preaching a gospel of hope. A gospel not written in theology books alone, but in how you love, how you listen, how you remain faithful when no one is watching. This is the influence I have planted in you, not loud, but lasting. Not flashy, but fruitful. And I want you to know that nothing you do in love is ever lost. Not a single act of kindness. Not a single prayer whispered in secret. Not a single burden carried for someone who couldn't stand on their own. I see it. I multiply it. I send it rippling out into lives you may never meet. This world is aching for authenticity. People are hungry for something real. Something deeper than trends, louder than fear, stronger than cynicism. And I have called you to be that something, to live in such a way that your peace becomes prophetic, that your hope becomes contagious, that your compassion becomes a bridge. You don't have to fix the whole world. You only have to be faithful where you are. You only have to let my light shine through your ordinary. and I will do the extraordinary through it. You see, revival does not begin with programs. It begins with people like you who choose me daily, quietly, faithfully. People who love when it's inconvenient, who forgive before it's fair, who speak life where others speak despair. You may think your story is too small, your reach too limited, your voice too soft. But I tell you, the kingdom moves through mustard seeds, through loaves and fishes, through quiet yes that ripple across generations. You have no idea who is watching you. You have no idea who is being healed by your consistency, who is being drawn to me through your integrity, who is starting to hope again because of your endurance. That's why I ask you to keep going, even when it feels unnoticed, even when it feels small, because nothing done in love is ever wasted. Nothing lived in me is ever in vain. And this is how my glory spreads, not just through miracles, but through mercy, not just through wonders, but through willingness, not just through sermons, but through stories, yours. You may not be loud, but you are light. You may not feel famous, but you are faithful. And faithfulness is what builds the unshakable. This is the kind of influence that cannot be undone by criticism or forgotten by time. This is the kind of impact that shifts the spiritual climate of entire families, entire communities. And I've entrusted it to you. So lift your head, not in pride, but in purpose. Walk into your daily life with a new awareness. The classroom, the kitchen, the corner store, the boardroom. These are not distractions from your calling. They are the stage for it. Don't wait for someday. Don't wait for confirmation from people who cannot see what I've placed in you. The time is now. The field is ready. And your life is already sowing seeds. Seeds of compassion. Seeds of truth. Seeds of healing. Some will fall in soil you'll never see again. But they will grow. Because I send the rain. I bring the increase. I complete the work that your faith begins. And when the weight of this world tries to dim your flame, when discouragement creeps in and questions start to whisper again, come back to me. Let me remind you who you are. Let me refill what has been poured out. You were never meant to carry the results, only the oil. I am the one who touches hearts. I am the one who changes lives. But I do it through you, through your hands, your voice, your presence, your prayers. You are the answer to someone's cry. You are the evidence of my faithfulness to someone who has stopped believing. And your faith is a spark in places that have grown cold. So don't underestimate what you carry. Don't silence your story. Don't shrink back from the spaces I've assigned you to. I placed you there for a reason, and I will use you, fully, deeply, beautifully. This is not the ending. This is the unfolding. And the world will see and know, not because of how great you are, but because of how deeply I dwell within you. I have chosen you, and I will be glorified in you. You've come so far, and I'm so pleased with the way your heart has followed me, not only in the joy of discovery, but in the quiet discipline of trust. But now I speak to you with a deeper urgency, not to stir fear, but to awaken clarity. You are living in a time unlike any before, a time when the world calls darkness light and celebrates confusion as progress, a time when compromise is easier than courage, and silence feels safer than truth. But I have not called you to safety. I have called you to faithfulness. And in this generation, faithfulness will look like fire. It will look like standing when others sit, loving when others hate, speaking when others are silent. You are not called to blend in, you are called to burn. The days ahead will not always feel friendly to your light. You will feel the tension increase, not just around you but inside you. There will be voices that try to normalize what I never approved, that try to justify choices I never blessed, that twist my words until they lose their edge. And if you are not deeply rooted, if you are not vigilant in spirit, you will be swept away not by violence, but by comfort, not by pressure, but by apathy. That is why I'm calling you deeper now. I'm calling you to vigilance, to wakefulness, to a kind of love that doesn't just feel but fights. Fights not with anger, but with allegiance. Fights not against people but for purity. Because what's coming is not a battle of swords. It's a battle of loyalty. I'm not asking you to shout. I'm asking you to shine, to remain, to stand firm when winds of deception blow strong, to hold the line when the world says there is no line left to hold. This is not about fear of the world, it's about faithfulness to my heart. Do not be surprised when others fall away, when the wide road feels more crowded than ever, when even those who once walked closely with me begin to wander. But you, beloved, you must keep your eyes on me. You must not build your faith on feelings, on friendships, or on fashion. Build it on the rock of who I am and what I've spoken. Because storms will come not just outside, but within. Questions you never asked will rise. Doubts you never voiced will whisper again. And in those moments, your anchor must be deeper than emotion. It must be rooted in conviction. This is why I've taught you intimacy, why I've trained you in discernment, why I've asked you to let go of shallow affirmations and choose deeper truth. Because the days ahead require people of depth. People who don't just quote my word but live it when it costs them something. People who can love without compromising, who can speak truth without superiority, who can serve without seeking recognition. That's the kind of disciple I'm forming in you. Not just someone who starts well, but someone who finishes faithful. Because in the end, it won't be about who was the loudest or the most followed or the most applauded. It will be about who endured, who kept the faith, who loved until the end. And I know it's hard. I know the pressure is real. The temptation to water down truth, to adapt just enough to avoid rejection, to stay silent when your soul knows you're meant to speak. But remember this, I was rejected first. I was mocked first. I stood alone first. And I never ask you to go where I haven't already gone. You don't need to be afraid of what's coming. You only need to be faithful. And faithfulness is built in the daily yes, in the decisions no one sees, in the thoughts you take captive, in the compromises you refuse even when they're subtle. Because compromise rarely announces itself. It sneaks in through fatigue, through loneliness, through the desire to belong. But you belong to me, and when you remember that, you don't need to fit in with what's fading. You were made to endure. You will need oil in your lamp, not just for the celebration, but for the night. And the night will come. That's why I urge you, guard your flame. Stay filled. Stay close. Stay awake. The enemy isn't only after your actions. He's after your affection. He wants your passion cold, your convictions soft, your boundaries blurred. But I want your heart ablaze, your mind renewed, your devotion sharp. I want a church that doesn't just survive the dark but shines in it. And that begins with you, your home, your prayer life, your choices when no one's watching, your voice when you think it doesn't matter. It does. Every yes to me reinforces your roots. Every no to compromise strengthens your spine. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you become more unshakable. Don't wait for persecution to decide where you stand. Decide now. Who are you when truth costs you influence? Who are you when obedience looks foolish to the world? Who are you when even the church seems to drift from the truth? I am looking for those who will love me more than being liked, who will follow me when it's lonely, who will remain with me when the world offers other lovers. This is the hour to decide, not with fear, but with fire. Because what's coming is not just the testing of your faith, it's the revealing of it. But here is my promise. I will not leave you to fight alone. I will strengthen you. I will anoint your words. I will fill your mouth in the moment you're called to speak. I will give you wisdom no one can refute. I will give you peace that makes no sense. I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. And you, my child, will not just endure these days. You will shine through them. You will stand not just for yourself, but for others who are watching. You will carry the light through the dark and show others the way home. So rise, my faithful one. Let your light shine in defiance of the night. Let your heart burn with love that cannot be compromised. Let your feet remain steady in paths that grow narrow. You are not abandoned. You are appointed. You are not forgotten. You are filled. And when the time comes and the shaking begins, you will not fall, because you are built not on sand, but on the unshakable word of the living God. Hold fast. I am with you. I am coming soon. Now that you are awake, alert, and standing, I want you to understand how to fight. Because this is not a passive walk. This is a battle, not against flesh and blood, not against the people who misunderstand you, reject you, or oppose your calling, but against powers that seek to dull your faith, cloud your mind, weaken your worship, and silence your voice. And I did not leave you defenseless. I gave you weapons not made by human hands. I gave you armor not forged by the world. I gave you a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And if you walk in step with my spirit, you will not only withstand the battle, you will move forward in victory. Because the war has already been won at the cross. Now I am calling you to enforce that victory in the places where darkness still claims territory. You are not just a survivor. You are my soldier. The first battlefield is always your mind. Before the enemy attacks your calling, he tries to erode your confidence. Before he comes for your influence, he whispers lies to your identity. That's why I've given you truth, not just to know it, but to wield it. My word is not decoration. It is your sword. Learn to use it. Speak it when doubt rises. Declare it when fear creeps in. Let it wash your thoughts, renew your thinking, and silence the voices that do not belong in your head. You are not what the world says. You are not your past. You are not your weakness. You are mine. And when your mind is aligned with heaven, your whole life comes into alignment. But you cannot fight on mental truth alone. You must be armed with prayer. Not just casual, passing words. Not just memorized phrases. But the kind of prayer that pierces through atmosphere. The kind of prayer that shakes the foundations of hell because it is born not from fear, but from intimacy. Prayer is not your last resort. It is your primary weapon. It is where battles are won before they are even seen. It is where strategies are revealed, strength is replenished, and authority is activated. When you pray, you do not beg as one powerless. You stand as one seated with me in heavenly places. You declare what is true. You pull heaven to earth. You push back the night. And there will be days when your flesh is tired. Days when distractions clamor louder than your hunger. But that is why I gave you my spirit. To strengthen your inner being. To stir your hunger when it wanes. To intercede through you when words fail. You are not meant to pray in your strength. You are meant to pray in mine. And when you do, you will feel the shift. The weight will lift. The clarity will come. The atmosphere will bend, because the spirit within you is not passive. He is a consuming fire, and when you give him space to move through you, things begin to break, to shake, to change. I want you to be a person of prayer not because it's spiritual, but because it's necessary. I want your home to become an altar, your car to become a sanctuary, your workplace to become a battleground of blessing. Prayer is not confined to a place. It's the posture of your heart in every place. And when you live in constant communion with me, the enemy loses access. He may roar, but he will not reign. He may attack, but he will not win. Because my spirit in you is greater than anything that comes against you. And I do not leave my warriors stranded. But you must also learn to war in worship. Worship is not just music. It is a declaration of dominion. It is the sound of surrender and the sound of victory in the same breath. When you worship, you exalt truth above your emotions. You place glory where it belongs. You silence shame. You dethrone fear. Even when your voice trembles, even when tears fall, your worship is a weapon. Sing your way through storms. Dance your way through dry seasons. Lift your voice even when it feels weak. Because when praise rises, walls fall. Chains break. Heaven moves, not because your song is perfect, but because your heart is real. And don't fight alone. I created you for communion, not just with me, but with others who carry the same fire. Surround yourself with warriors, with people who know how to pray, how to speak life, how to remind you of truth when your vision gets blurry. Isolation is a strategy of the enemy. Unity is a weapon of heaven. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there. And when you stand shoulder to shoulder with other believers, your impact multiplies. So don't hide your battles. Don't fake your strength. Let community carry what you cannot, and you will find that your victory was never meant to be solitary. It was always meant to be shared. This is the life I've called you to, not one of fear or defeat, but of courage, clarity, and conquest. And yes, there will be days you fall, days you feel weak, days you feel overwhelmed. But never forget this: I do not measure your worth by your strength, I measure it by your surrender. And I do not abandon those who fall, I lift them. So get back up, take up your sword, open your mouth, lift your head. The battle is not over. The fire in you is not out. The spirit in you has not given up. And I am still the same God who calmed the storm, who raised the dead, who rolled the stone away, and I am alive in you. Let this be your cry in the war. Not just deliver me, but use me. Use me to push back darkness. Use me to heal the broken. Use me to declare your kingdom. Let my life be fire. Let my prayers be arrows. Let my love be fierce. I am not just surviving. I am advancing. I am not just standing, I am moving, because I carry heaven inside of me, and no hell on earth can stop what you, Lord, have begun. So come, Holy Spirit, fill me again. Teach my hands to war and my heart to rest. Let me fight not with bitterness, but with blessing. Not with fear, but with fire. I am yours, fully, forever. Now lead me forward. You've learned to hear me, to follow me, to fight with me. And now I want to speak to you as one who is no longer only being led, but also called to lead, not with titles or stages, but with legacy. Because the days you live now are not just for building moments. They are for building eternity. You were never meant to simply pass through this life unnoticed. I placed you here to leave a mark. Not a mark of your name, but of my nature. Not a legacy of applause, but of impact. Not footprints in the sand, but seeds in the soil. You were created to sow what will outlive you. And that begins not with something grand, but with a surrendered heart that says, Lord, let my life matter. This is the season where I call you to build what matters most. Lives, not platforms. People, not performance. A legacy not built in haste, but forged in faithfulness. You may not feel famous. You may never be known by the world, but you are known by heaven. And what you pour into one soul, the way you love, the way you serve, the way you forgive, ripples through generations. Never underestimate the eternal value of daily obedience. One conversation can redirect a destiny. One act of mercy can restore a broken heart. One word of truth, spoken in love, can bring someone home. This is how my kingdom grows. Not in crowds, but in quiet moments of courageous love. I know you've wondered at times, does it really matter? Am I really making a difference? Let me answer you clearly, it matters more than you know. I count every seed you sow. I water every act of kindness. I multiply every sacrifice. You may never see the full harvest here, but one day you will. One day you'll stand before me and I'll show you the faces, the lives forever changed because you didn't give up, because you chose love over indifference, because you prayed when no one knew, because you stayed faithful when others walked away. That is your legacy. Not the things you collected, but the lives you touched. Not what you built for yourself, but what you gave away in love. Your life is not small when it is surrendered. In my hands, even the mundane becomes miraculous. The moments you held a hurting friend, the meals you cooked for someone who couldn't return the favor, the encouragement you gave when you had little strength yourself. These are the bricks of legacy. This is the architecture of eternity, and I am building through you something far greater than any earthly monument. A living testimony that my love is real, my light is relentless, and my grace reaches through ordinary people to do extraordinary things. But legacy is not only about what you do, it's about who you become. I want to form in you a heart so free from fear, so full of love, so anchored in truth, that your very presence becomes a refuge for others. I want your eyes to see the unseen, your words to carry healing, your hands to serve without hesitation, your spirit to reflect my character so deeply that even your silence speaks peace. This is what it means to become a living witness, not just a speaker of truth, but an embodiment of it. Not just a carrier of light, but a spark that lights others on fire. And yes, this kind of legacy will cost you. It will cost you pride. It will cost you time. It will cost you comfort, but the reward is far greater than anything you lay down. Because what I will give you in return is a life that echoes in eternity. A life that matters beyond this moment. A life that heaven celebrates and hell fears. And I will walk with you every step of the way, not as a distant observer, but as your closest companion. I will whisper when you're weary. I will strengthen you when you feel poured out. I will remind you who you are when the world forgets. Because I never forget. I never miss a moment. And I am with you to the end. So live with the end in mind, but not with dread. With purpose. With vision. With clarity. Let every day be a step toward the legacy I've written over your life. Don't wait for later. Later is not promised. What you do now shapes what lasts forever. Love now. Give now. Forgive now. Serve now. The world is watching, but more importantly, the heavens are recording. And I am rejoicing over every time you choose me. Every time you say, "Yes, Lord." When it costs you. Every time you love someone who cannot repay you. That is the gospel in motion. That is legacy in action. And one day, when you breathe your last and step into eternity, you will not bring your trophies. You will bring your love. And I will show you how every act of it became a thread in someone else's redemption story. You will see how your light shone further than you ever knew. How your life was not just a journey. It was a lighthouse, guiding others home. And I will say to you, well done. Not because you were perfect. Not because you never struggled. But because you were faithful. Because you never let go. Because you believed when it was hard. Because you loved when it hurt. And that, my child, is legacy. So don't stop now. Don't settle. Don't shrink back. Let your life burn bright. Let it be poured out like oil. Let it be remembered in heaven not for how long you lived, but for how deeply you loved. This is what I'm building in you. A story that lasts. A love that multiplies. A faith that remains. A legacy that endures. You've followed me through the shadows. You've stood when it was hard. You've sown when no one applauded. You've become a reflection of my love. But now I speak to you not only as my follower, not even just as my friend. I speak to you as one I call into the holy, into the sacred, into the flame of full surrender. I am not just asking for your service anymore. I am asking for your whole life, not in part, not in measure. All of it. Your dreams, your voice, your time, your name, your reputation. I am inviting you to become the offering, not just to give love, but to become love. Not just to live for me, but to let me live fully through you. This is not the place for fear. This is the place for fire. This is where all the songs, the prayers, the battles, the breakthroughs lead into the single moment where your life is no longer something you own, but something you offer. Not because I demand it, but because I deserve it. Because I gave you everything and now you understand true worship is not just sound, but surrender. True faith is not just belief, but becoming. And this, my beloved, is the becoming. The burning away of everything that is not eternal. The laying down of every right, every crown, every title, every dream at my feet. Not in loss, but in love. You don't lose yourself here. You find yourself. Because when you finally release everything, when nothing is held back, that's when the river of heaven rushes in. That's when joy becomes unshakable. That's when your soul tastes freedom not just from sin, but from self. You were never meant to live half alive. You were never meant to calculate how much you can keep for yourself. I didn't call you to comfort. I called you to consecration. And consecration is not about doing more. It's about being wholly mine. Every breath, every heartbeat, every decision soaked in devotion. You see, the world says, protect your life, guard your truth, secure your future. But I say, lose your life in me, and you will find it. Give up your will, and you will walk in mine. Lay down your future, and I will give you a destiny eternal. You were not created to be cautious. You were created to be consumed. You are the altar. You are the incense. You are the offering. And when you live like that, hell trembles, heaven rejoices, and the world sees not just a believer, but a beloved one, burning with my glory. But don't mistake this calling for glamour. This is not the place of applause. This is the place of pruning. Because to be fully mine, I will strip away everything that competes with me. Not to punish you, but to purify you, to prepare you, to transform you. I will remove the distractions. I will test your motives. I will refine your intentions, because I am jealous for your love, and I will not share your heart with anything that dulls your flame. I will not let comfort become your idol. I will not let reputation become your God. I will not let fear dictate your devotion. I want you, all of you, and I will settle for nothing less. This is the place where holiness becomes not just something you pursue, but something you embody, where your yes becomes louder than your excuses, where your life no longer needs to be explained because it becomes evidence of love, of truth, of resurrection. And yes, it will cost you. People will not always understand you. The world will not always celebrate you. Even the church may sometimes question you. But I will know you. I will walk with you. I will call you by name. And I will fill you with fire that no man can manufacture and no trial can extinguish. Let your life become a temple where my glory dwells. Let your choices become my worship. Let your sacrifices become sweet aroma rising to my throne. Because what you give me in secret, I will honor in eternity. What you lay down at the altar, I will raise up in resurrection power. Nothing you lose in love is truly lost. It is sown, and I do not waste what is sown in surrender. I turn it into legacy, into healing, into miracles that reach further than you can see. This is your highest call, not to be known, but to be emptied, not to be safe, but to be holy, not to be strong, but to be surrendered. And I am with you, in the quiet, in the fire, in the yielding, in the glory. I will carry you when the weight feels unbearable. I will anoint you when the oil runs low. I will whisper when the world shouts too loud. And I will keep you, steady and shining, all the way through, because I do not leave my altars unattended. I do not forget my beloved. So now let go of what you've clung to. Lay it all down. The past, the pride, the pressure, the plans. Lay it down not in fear, but in fullness. Lay it down not with tears of grief, but with the joy of someone who knows the exchange is eternal. I do not take from you. I receive what you give and return it multiplied, purified, glorified. So give me your whole life, not someday, now, today. Give me the full yes, the total surrender, the here I am, Lord. Consume it all, because this is where heaven comes. This is where the Spirit breathes. This is where the flame never dies. This is where you become not just a disciple, not just a witness, but a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to me. And now, beloved, you have come to the edge, not of an ending, but of the eternal beginning. You have walked the narrow way, you have surrendered your will, you have become not just one who knows me, but one who lives me. And now I speak to you not as a traveler still searching, but as one who has found the fire that never dies. You are no longer only following the light, you are carrying it. And that light is not dim. It is the flame of resurrection. It is the fire of glory. It is the radiant mark of one who has walked with God and has been forever changed. The world may not understand what you've become, but heaven knows. The scars on your heart have become stories of grace. The oil poured out from your life has not been wasted. It has been received, honored, multiplied. This is the moment where all things begin to align. Not just your past and your present, but your eternity. Because everything you've lived, every prayer whispered, every sacrifice made, every step taken in faith, it was always leading here. Not to applause, not to comfort, but to union, to glory, to the fullness of my promise unfolding in you. You were not just created to know about me, you were created to dwell in me. And now, your life has become a dwelling place of heaven on earth. You are not waiting to enter the kingdom. You are carrying it. Every word you speak, every breath you breathe, every space you enter, it becomes a gateway, a threshold, where the eternal touches the temporary and the divine kisses the dust. You've walked through fire and you did not burn. You've passed through waters and they did not overwhelm you. You've stood where others fled, hoped when others quit, loved when others closed their hearts. You've become evidence, not of perfection, but of resurrection, not of strength, but of surrender. You've lived with your hands open, your heart soft, your eyes lifted, and now I say to you, well done. Not because you finished with power, but because you finished with love. Not because you conquered every mountain, but because you never let go of my hand. You've been faithful with the little, and now I entrust you with more. Not more tasks, but more glory. Not more pressure, but more presence. This is where I pour out a double portion. Not just for your sake, but for those who will come after you. Because the legacy you've lived is not ending with you, it is beginning in others. You are the spark that lights the next fire. You are the echo of heaven calling future generations home. Every seed you've sown in tears will rise in joy. Every prayer you prayed for others will bloom in due time. You may not see all the fruit in this life, but I promise you, you will see it in eternity. And when you stand before me face to face, it won't be with regret. It will be with radiant joy, because you lived fully, you gave all, you finished well, and I know even now you feel the pull of my return. The sense that time is shorter, the longing for a better country, not built by men, but prepared by me. That longing is holy. It is the sign that your heart has fully awakened, because you no longer belong to this world, not in your thinking, not in your love, not in your mission. You are a citizen of another realm, an ambassador of another kingdom, a child of the promise. And soon, very soon, that kingdom will be fully seen. The trumpet will sound, the clouds will break, the king will ride in glory, and those who have burned with love will rise with joy, not in fear, but in fulfillment, not in shame, but in celebration. But until that day shine, not with fading ambition, but with unquenchable hope. Let your words be soaked in eternity. Let your steps echo with the sound of heaven. Let your gaze stay fixed on the Lamb, because you know now that this is not a rehearsal. This is real. This is sacred. Every moment matters. Every soul matters. Every choice is a seed in forever. So let your life remain a song that sings long after you've gone. Let your legacy speak louder than your voice. Let the fragrance of your surrender linger in the places you've passed through. You are not a fading light. You are a fire sealed with the breath of God. And when the final breath comes, it will not be an end. It will be a beginning. It will be the great unveiling, the face-to-face, the welcome home, the joy unspeakable and full of glory. And you will see that every cost was worth it. Every delay was preparation. Every battle was for beauty. Every tear was a gem in my hand, and I will wipe them all away. I will lift your face. I will speak your name, and you will hear the only words that matter. Well done, my good and faithful one. Enter into my joy. So go now, not to end, but to begin. To live as one already alive in me. To love as one already crowned. To serve as one already seated in glory. The world may still be dark, but the light in you cannot be extinguished. The battle may still rage, but your victory has already been won. You are not waiting for greatness, you are walking in it. You are not hoping for purpose, you are fulfilling it. You are not chasing love, you are rooted in it. I am with you. I am for you. I am in you. And this is the song of the faithful, that they loved to the end and burned until the last breath. Now rise, go, live, and never stop shining. You've heard the voice, not mine but his, and something inside you knows this was not just beautiful. It was personal.
You've heard the voice, not mine, but his. And something inside you knows this was not just beautiful. It was personal. If your heart was stirred, if your eyes were opened, if your spirit was reignited, don't let the fire go out. Let it burn. Let it guide you. Let it lead you home. This was not the end. This was a beginning. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep listening. Because he's still speaking. And he's not finished with you yet.